Antoine Wells Jr. Now, here's an interesting one. By the way, his nickname is Juice. So we're just going to call him Juice from now on. I like the name. His name is Juice. You like it, the Juice?
I like Antoine. Reminds me of Deuce Bigelow.
Anyway, I was doing this. There's a skit from SNL with Rob Schneider being like the guy who's selling gyros, and they asked for more juice, and the he's like, "Oh, you like it, the juice." I think it was Jason Alexander was in it too for some reason. Maybe he was guesting that week. I don't know. Anyway, he's a funny skit. Wide receiver out of Ole Miss, and that's the interesting part about him here. Played with Jaxson Dart last year. Interesting pickup to get one of his wide receivers into camp here. 6'1", 201 pounds from Richmond, Virginia. Played the last 2 years there over at Ole Miss, and then before that, James Madison had. See here. Hold on one second. I feel like there we go. My notes are just got all messed up here. Hold on. That's what it is. Okay. Womp.
Wompity womp womp.
One edit got made and messed the whole thing up. So he played last year at Ole Miss, played 2 years in South Carolina prior to that, played 2 years at James Madison prior to that. So he's been in 3 schools overall. Last year, 13 games, 28 catches, 553 yards, 5 rushes, and 4 yards. His biggest year he had was back in 22, South Carolina, 68 catches, 928 yards, 6 touchdowns. He then had a foot injury in 23 that limited just 3 games, and then he transferred over to Ole Miss for that final season there. So basically, this was his year of coming back from a foot injury. That's one thing that I can look at as a player and say, you know what? You're coming back from a foot injury. Were you really 100% last year?
Probably not.
Probably not. Exactly. This is from NFL Draft Buzz. They said, looking at the tape, Wells offers intriguing value as a physical possession receiver with occasional big play capability. The numbers tell the story. His intermediate route production significantly outpaces his deep ball efficiency, suggesting his NFL ceiling lies in working the middle zones rather than stretching defenses vertically. His contact balance and yards after catch tenacity will translate immediately to Sunday action, giving him a defined role from day one despite technical limitations. The foot injury that derailed his 23 campaign looms large in his evaluation. When healthy, Wells demonstrates the competitive toughness and spatial awareness to find soft spots against zone coverage while possessing enough play strength to maintain positioning in tight quarters. You know, he kind of reminds me of when I hear this. And he's not the right size. So, I mean, you know, say that right off the bat. Almost like a Hodgins type. That's almost Hodgins thing. Hodgins has found the hole in zone. Like, he wasn't the fastest guy. He wasn't the best route runner role. He just had a knack for finding the laps in zone coverage.
Yeah, that's fair. Just explain the holes.
Yeah, like that's what he. Whoa. But yeah, that's what he did. And Wells seems to be the same kind of player here, based on what we saw there on some of the highlight reels, and what we're reading here from NFL Draft Buzz. Again, the most intriguing part for me is the fact that he literally played with Jaxson Dart last year. I don't think there's a chance in hell they bring this kid in if Jaxson Dart wasn't okay with it, didn't sign off on it, didn't want him there. So that also speaks a little bit to the fact that he must obviously have some rapport with Jaxson Dart, and the fact that those two must get along at least somewhat, at the very least. They didn't despise working together for the year. I can't think of any situation where we're going to sign this guy who played over at Ole Miss, a wide receiver. We drafted his quarterback. Should we talk to him first? No. Obviously the conversation was had. So, and it's nice because you got to think in camp, in the rookie mini camp, even for the couple of days, you're getting him a player he's used to playing with. You're giving him a comfort level, giving him someone to walk around with, to kind of, he's used to being on the field with. I think it's a nice move for that reason alone. Now, will Wells actually bring something to the table where he can stay past training camp? We'll find out. But again, we talked about it before. The bottom level of this wide receiver group for the Giants is so bad, it's not even funny. This is one spot. If we're talking about people that look at the waiver wire and stuff like that, that's a spot the Giants might look at the end of the training camp. But He's going to get a look. He's going to get a chance. So
yeah, rightfully so.
Exactly.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please.